Hubert Best, a specialist in copyright law, has been talking at the Media Mixer conference. Hubert, what are the key copyright changes or challenges to copyright?
I think different countries, certainly the United Kingdom, is making some fairly significant changes to copyright law at the moment. They're in progress, they haven't come about completely yet. And I think that the particular challenge for the kind of media that we're discussing is that digital media are basically universal nowadays. The internet and other digital means of exploitation mean that actually what we're talking about is something international, not national. And so it seems to me a particular challenge when one country is going ahead unilaterally, as it were, and making fairly significant changes to copyright, which at the moment don't show many signs of being copied necessarily in other countries. I think this makes for potential practical difficulties.
Okay. So how do you expect copyright law to develop?
It's hard to know, because over the last 50, 70 years, there's been a gradual increase in copyright protection in terms of the duration of protection, the kinds of media that are protected, and the kinds of technologies that are encompassed. Now it seems that we may be starting a phase of the opposite happening. And as I've just said, it doesn't seem to be happening necessarily on the international scale in a very orderly way. But it's a bit too soon to say whether a basic loosening, or at least to some extent dismantling, of copyright protection will actually become an international trend.
So how do you think this will affect the media industries?
I think right at this moment it must be very difficult to make investment decisions because laws are changing, and in this country they're changing quickly and being enacted in ways which enable future changes to happen very quickly. It seems to me that many of the kinds of investment needed, especially in the digital media, are large. The challenges are big, the amount of money needed is big. Obviously, one has to see a return on that actually to decide to make the investment in the first place. My fear is that some of the changes, if they're ill-considered, and especially if they open the way to frequent future changes on short notice, will in fact discourage investment rather than having the opposite effect.
And how should society be thinking about this?
Goodness. Well, I don't know. On the one hand, there are campaigns, usually fairly basic, could one say, asking people to respect copyright in one way or another. I don't know. I think actually the late Charles Clarke, who was a great publishing figure in this country, coined a phrase which is that the solution to the machine is in the machine, or something to that effect. And I think actually the reality is the way technology is developing and the means of exploiting media are developing, I think the public actually need to think about the actual copyright and such issues less and less. I think actually for them the solution is in the way they actually are presented with the media and able to use them by technology.
Hubert, thank you very much.
Pleasure.